Rise and shine. It's your business tech boost with me, Charly Leetham. It is episode number 684 today. It's Mindset Monday, and we're going to be talking about vibe coding, the latest trend where people use AI tools to build websites just by describing what they want. Sounds good, doesn't it? But is it actually good for your business? Let's talk about it today and find out. Welcome to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and I'll break them down into bite-sized tips you can use straight away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and shine. It's your business tech boost with me, Charly Leetham. It's episode number 683 today. It is Mindset Monday, and we're going to be talking about vibe coding, that latest trend where people say they're using AI tools to build websites just by describing what they want. Sounds great, doesn't it? But is it actually good for your business? So let's talk about it today and find out. First things first, what even is vibe coding? It's a term that has been floating around the tech world, and it basically means using AI tools, things like ChatGPT, Claude, Cursor, Bolt, Lovable, whatever the new trend is for this week, to generate website code by describing what you want in plain English. You can type in, build me a landing page with a hero section, 3 service cards, and a contact form, and it spits out the code. No coding knowledge required. At least that's what they tell you. Look, I understand that it's completely tempting. I truly understand that it's tempting. You don't want to wait 2 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks for a developer to get back to you, to write the site up, to build the site, to make it look good and to hand it over to you. You don't have to pay thousands of dollars. You're in control. You can make changes at midnight in your pajamas if you want to. For a small business owner watching every dollar, it absolutely sounds like a dream. Honestly, I don't blame anyone for being curious. The appeal is real. But we do need to get honest here. These tools can produce working code. They definitely do produce working code. But, and this is a big but, the quality of what comes out depends entirely on the quality of what you put in. And that means your prompts, your descriptions, how clearly you can articulate what you need. It also depends on the ability of the person reviewing it to spot what's wrong. If you don't know what good code looks like, you can't tell the difference between code that works and code that works for now. Now, this is the bit that matters the most. A website can look absolutely stunning on screen and be a complete disaster underneath. I'm talking about things like broken form submissions that silently fail, so people think they've inquired, but you never receive that inquiry. I'm talking about things like SEO that's so badly structured, Google can't even figure out what your site is about. We're talking about contact forms that have got no input sanitization, which means someone can type malicious code into the contact form fields, like the name field. They can put malicious code in there and potentially access your database. That one's called SQL injection, by the way, and it's one of the oldest attacks in the book. AI-generated code is notorious for leaving the door wide open to those sorts of things. On the surface, it looks great. Underneath, it's a different story, and you won't know until something goes wrong, or worse, until someone exploits it. Now, I'm sure everyone has seen the social media posts, and that's why you've got the curiosity up. I built this site in 3 hours. It didn't cost me a cent. I just used AI tools, and oh, look, it's all up and running. But here's what they don't tell you. These AI coding tools were built for developers. They're designed to speed up the workflow of someone who already knows what they're doing. A developer uses AI to write boilerplate code faster. Sorry, I'm just making sure I said boilerplate there. They then review it, they fix it, and they integrate it properly. They're not using it as a replacement for knowledge, they're using it as an accelerator. When a non-technical person uses the same tool, they're skipping the most important step. It's that review process. They're skipping that process. And that's where things really come unstuck. Alrighty. Now, there are some real costs, and there's real costs that you probably aren't counting when you're looking at the fact that you're going to save these thousands of dollars by not having a developer come in and do it for you, or having someone who can build websites come in and do it for you. So let's talk about those real costs right now. Everyone focuses on that dollar figure, right? I saved $3,000 by building my own website, but did you really? How many hours did you spend learning the tool? How many hours troubleshooting when something didn't work? How many hours did you waste going back and forth trying to get the AI to understand what you actually wanted? Or, as I talk about it, arguing with the AI. Every one of those hours is an hour you didn't spend on clients, on sales, on the things that actually grow your business, on the things that you are good at. Let me try that again. I'm sorry. You started your business because you're great at what you do, whatever that is. You didn't start it to become a web developer or a code reviewer or a code writer. When you add up those hours and multiply them by what your time is actually worth, that free website suddenly starts to look a little bit more expensive. In fact, it could look pretty expensive. Now, here's the other side of it as well. Even if you're happy to invest the time, there's still a problem. You're learning a tool without understanding the fundamentals underneath it. You don't know what responsive design actually requires, or you may not know. I want to try and not be absolutist here. You may not know what responsive design actually requires. You may not know why certain code structures matter for accessibility. You may not know what a proper site architecture looks like for SEO. So when the AI gives you something that's wrong, it's really hard to spot. In fact, you probably won't spot it because you don't know what you're looking for. You're making decisions without the context to make good ones. It's like using a GPS in a city you've never visited. You'll get somewhere, but you won't know if it took you the long way around or drove you straight through a dodgy neighborhood. And this is something else that people don't think about until it's too late. You've built the site using AI. It's live. It's working. Fantastic. Now, 6 months go by and something breaks. A plugin conflicts. A form stops sending. The layout goes wonky on mobile after a browser update. Now what? You go back to the AI tool and ask it to fix it, but it doesn't remember what it built. It doesn't have the context. You're essentially starting out every single time. It's starting out again every single time. And if you don't fix it yourself, you now need to pay a developer to untangle the code they didn't write and can barely follow. That costs more, not less. Now, I actually want to dig into that just a little bit more there, because I said there the AI doesn't have any context. What I have found when we're doing this, and I do use AI, I use it to speed up my processes, as a thought partner. What I have found is after I've done something, I might go back a couple of weeks later and say, now I need to do this. Here's the code. And it goes through and it rewrites my code, rewrites the base code. Oh, no, this code is wrong. I'm going to rewrite it. It's like, but that's not what I asked you to do. So AI really has no context. It doesn't have that memory that we have. Now, we need to talk about the security gaps that also can occur, because that can be too vague. Here's what AI-generated code commonly gets wrong. First, input sanitization. I mentioned that initially. If your site has any kind of form, contact, booking, search, login, and the code doesn't sanitize what people type into those fields, you're open to injection attacks. Someone types a bit of code instead of their name, and suddenly they're talking directly to your database. This isn't science fiction. It happens every day. It has happened for years immemorial, and it will continue to happen. The second one is cross-site scripting. I have to say that very slowly, or XSS, cross-site scripting. That's where an attacker injects a script through your site that can steal your visitors' data or redirect them to a dodgy site entirely. Your customers think they're on your website, but they're not. The next one is exposed credentials. AI tools sometimes hard code things like API keys, passwords, or sensitive configuration details right into the front end code. That means anyone who views your page source can see them. It's like leaving your house key taped to the front door. Fourth, there's a list of them here. Fourth, there's no rate limiting or bot protection. So your login page, your forms, your checkout, they're all wide open to brute force attacks. Bots can hammer them thousands of times a minute, and there's nothing stopping them. Is this the last one? Nope. Fifth, personal data handling. If your site collects any customer information, names, emails, phone numbers, payment details, AI-generated code rarely handles storage, encryption, or transmission properly. We're talking about unencrypted data, plain text storage, no SSL enforcement. You could be breaching Australian privacy principles or the privacy principles of the country where you are resident without even knowing it. And that's not a tech problem at that point. It becomes a legal one. Now, finally, on top of all of those points, AI just loves pulling in third-party libraries and external scripts without checking whether they're current, trusted, or even still maintained. You end up with dependencies you didn't know you had. Now, dependencies are this library has been pulled in, this patch of code has been pulled into your code. It's being used to do these functions, and that's called a dependency, because if you take it out, everything falls down. You're running code you've never reviewed from sources you can't verify. That's not a foundation. It's a house of cards. And then finally again, I guess, there's the good enough trap. The site looks fine. It loads. The buttons work, but underneath it's quietly bleeding. Your contact form has no spam protection, so you stop checking it because it's full of junk and you miss real inquiries. Your page speed is terrible because the code might be bloated. Or your page speed might be terrible because the code might be bloated, so Google ranks you lower. Your mobile experience is clunky, so visitors leave before they even see what you offer. And because there's no proper security in place, every piece of customer data that passes through your site is potentially exposed. You probably have no idea that's happening because everything looks fine on the surface. Good enough can be the most expensive option of all for a small business. Okay, so how do you actually decide what's right for you? Before you dive into doing any of this, I want you to ask yourself 3 honest questions. 1, do I actually enjoy doing this, or am I trying to save money? Or is it just curiosity and I want to scratch that itch? 2, if something goes wrong, can I fix it myself, or do I know someone who can? 3, what's the actual cost of getting this wrong? If the answers are not really, probably not, and it costs me clients or credibility or money because I get fined, that tells you something. So be honest with yourself. There's no shame in admitting this isn't your zone. Okay, so look, I'm not anti-DIY. I'm really not. There are absolute situations where using AI to build something makes perfect sense. A simple one-page landing page for an event, probably go for it. An internal tool that only your team sees, probably go for it. A quick prototype to show someone your idea before investing properly, absolutely. That is the best use for an AI tool. The common thread here is low stakes. If it breaks, nobody's business suffers. If it looks a bit rough, it doesn't matter. That's the sweet spot for vibe coding. Now, the thing that you do need to think about is that moment we're talking about your main business website, the thing that represents your brand, that customers interact with, that you need to generate leads or process transactions. Once we're there, we are in completely different territory. This is your shop front. This is your first impression. This is your reputation. Would you let an AI design your physical shop with no builder checking the foundations? Probably not. Your website deserves the same respect. If it's customer facing and tied to your reputation, it's not the place to experiment. So here's what I actually do recommend. Use AI tools to help you with the bits that don't require technical expertise. Content drafts, perfect use. Image ideas, great idea, great use. Layout inspirations, please, yes, send them to me. I love to see what you can get, what you've got in your mind and can actually show me visually. Maybe even generating a first pass of copy, not code, of copy. Then bring in someone else who knows what they're doing for the technical build. That's the hybrid approach, and it's genuinely powerful. You stay involved, you have a say, you understand what's happening, but the foundations are solid because someone with the right skills laid them out. Best of both worlds, without a doubt. Now, if you do decide to bring someone in, let me tell you a little bit, or let me try to explain to you a little bit about what good help should look like to you. It's not someone who speaks in jargon and makes you feel stupid. It's not someone who charges you a fortune and then disappears. Good help is someone who explains what they're doing in plain English, someone who shows you how to make basic updates yourself, someone who asks you what you want to achieve at a business level. It's someone who's there when things go sideways. Someone who treats your business like it matters, because it absolutely does. You don't need a tech expert. You just need someone reliable in your corner who is. Alrighty, guys. That was a pretty heavy one, and I know I sort of came down really hard on it. I was trying not to be too ranty. I was trying not to be too negative. I did really want to get through some thoughts on it because I've seen some stuff. I've had some stuff come across my desk that I've had to correct, and then, you know, in one case I just had to rebuild the lot. It wasn't great. So what do you think? Have I raised more questions than I've answered here? I kind of hope so, because that's how we learn and grow. Have you tried vibe coding? How did it go? What worked for you? What didn't? I really would love to know. Leave comments wherever you're watching or listening to this video. Now, if this episode was useful to you, I would love a like, and maybe you could share this with a friend. If you also haven't subscribed to the channel already, please hit the subscribe button now and ring that bell so you find out when I drop more content. And of course, if you need any help with this, I'm here to help. If you haven't already booked a free 30-minute breakthrough session, you can do that by visiting my website, askcharlyleetham.com, and clicking on the button to the top, I think it's this way, top right-hand corner, or reach out and book more time with me and hire me to help you out if you've already used the free session. I'd love to help. All right, guys, look, I'm going to see you on Wednesday, where we're going to be doing Walkthrough Wednesday. Until then, be safe in your vibe coding. Enjoy your vibing, and I will see you then. Bye. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.